go to the Court of Appeals to be proved innocent. I can't have a jury trial. It has to be, they're stating it has to go to the Court of Appeals, which are 3 federally paid judges who will make the decision, and they say it's because of secrecy reasons, so clearly they won't allow an open trial to happen concerning the Fourth Amendment of illegal search and seizure of our Constitution.
Governor Jesse Ventura, 2 days ago when you were on with us, you made the central point that it's martial law when you go to the airport, and now they're on the highways. And look at this ruling. They're saying national security, it's secret. We can't tell you. You're a governor. You're a Navy veteran, honorably discharged, highly decorated, all of this, well-known. You have to be groped by somebody. And when I was going through the TSA in Las Vegas, when I was out there with you a few weeks ago, when I was flying back to Austin, I said, how do I know you're not a terrorist? How do I know you're not guilty until proven innocent if I'm guilty? And the guy said, I can be trusted. The government's checked me out. I mean, it's this idea that we're all criminals. We're all prisoners. Can you elaborate on your statement of what this country's now become and your statement about martial law?
Well, clearly, Alex, is that, we're all guilty now until we prove we're innocent. And the problem is, we can't even prove we're innocent in front of a jury. I always thought we were guaranteed the right of a jury trial in this country, a trial of your peers, of your citizens. Clearly, the government doesn't want this going in front of citizens because obviously they'd lose. And if they lost, it would open up Pandora's box. And the other thing they don't want, the other question they don't want out there is the question that, why is it the government's job to provide security for the airlines when the airlines are a private sector business?
Well, what about, you were a governor, you know more about the 10th Amendment than I do. Since when do the feds, I can send you the PSAs. They're now airing TV ads showing TSA at Buccaneers games and at shopping malls searching people. And Governor, they're now rolling out on the streets.
Absolutely they are. When you drive around the country now, our border agents are no longer at the border. They're out in the deserts. They're out on our interstate highways. I predict, Alex, that within the decade, you will have to show ID to travel state to state in this country because the Constitution is no more and the Bill of Rights are no more. That was proven to me today when I wasn't allowed to go to court on them.
Governor, you've always told me that, you stay focused, you don't give up. I think the answer is, and obviously you'd run to win, but run for president to try to, say, restore the Bill of Rights, restore the Constitution, legalize freedom, legalize America. You would get a lot of attention and could really put the heat on these people. And I understand, there's a lot of other countries, but you love this nation. It's not America that went wrong. It's this corrupt system. Obviously you're percolating right now, you're thinking, but what's racing through your mind? What's next?
Well, I talked about it at the press conference today that I guess the only recourse I could have would be to win the presidency. And then could I get my day in court as the president? That would be my next question. As President of the United States, could I go to court over my Fourth Amendment rights? I don't know, Alex. I can't run for president because I don't have ballot access in all 50 states, and that would require a great deal of money, a great deal of time, and the system is set up so that you can't achieve that. That way the Democrats and Republicans, the two-party dictatorship, they hold the stranglehold on all our elections because an independent like me cannot get ballot access in all 50 states.
Well, Governor, you've always been a winner. And you won as a trailblazer in Minnesota, out of nowhere as governor. And the people are more angry and more awake than they've ever been. You got one group of people that are more sheeple than ever, but a lot of folks are really waking up. Ron Paul is saying, hey, I might run as third party. The Libertarians are saying, come on over. If Paul doesn't take it, they're the ones that have ballot access. I think it's time for them to right now approach you and say, because you've got the name, you've got the knowledge, You've got the track record, and again, I understand the instinct, because I have it myself, to just get out of here. And I won't blame you if you do that, because, you know, you're a Navy guy. There's such a thing as abandoning ship, but you've been a captain. You've been a governor, and I think we need you to, you know, try to save the Republic. I mean, you've already done so much. I hate to say do more, but...
Well, let me put it to you this way, Alex. The ball's in the Libertarian court now. They have to approach me, or they have to approach Congressman Paul, whoever they want to approach to be their presidential candidate. I'm not going to approach them. They will have to approach me.
What is your mental... I mean, when you got the call from your lawyer and heard about the ruling, what was the first thing went through your mind? And please give us any other points that you made at the press conference, sir.
Well, what went through my mind, it was very disheartening. It was like having your guts pulled out of you. They gutted me as far as my patriotism goes. I have no patriotism whatsoever to this government today. You know, as my T-shirts say, I love my country, not my government. And I think that speaks volumes the way I feel right now, Alex. I have no love for the government of the United States of America today.
How's Terry taking it, your wife?
Like always, she's a battler. She stands by me no matter what I do. I couldn't ask for a better person that way, and she'll grit her teeth and get through it, I hope.
Well, we were hoping for sanity in government, but it just, you know, we tried in Texas.
It's not going to happen, Alex. When a citizen can't go to court to fight for the Bill of Rights, his basic Bill of Rights in this country, when they won't allow you to go to court over that, well, that tells you. I will now refer to this country no longer as the United States of America. I will refer to it as the fascist states of America, because that's what I believe we are, Alex. We are fascists now.
Well, there's no doubt. In fact, there's a quote in the Associated Press where you said, this is not the country I grew up in. America is now a fascist nation.
Yeah, and I quoted Kevin Costner today at the press conference. I said, this is not the country I was born in, and it's certainly not going to be the country I die in.
Well, look, the country's been hijacked, and yes, the people...
We got to take it back.
Well, I know you're a busy man. Yeah, as soon as you leave, I'll have 50 questions that pop in my head. This is all stunning.
Well, unfortunately, Alex, I got to take off, so we got to end it now, but I'll try to get back to you. If you'll have me on next week, we'll talk about it more in depth next week. Absolutely, and perhaps we need to talk later when you get home or next week off air about strategy. I know Ty called me last night. He was getting on a plane to come be with you there, and we were talking strategy, and I was going to send him some information. I think one way to go after him, and then I'll let you go because I know you're busy, is the fact that statistically they're such criminals. Only criminals or crazy people would want to be groping people all day, and they're constantly caught stealing money, pedophiles. I think the health issue of the scanners is a way to go after them. But is there anywhere we can read the ruling? No, because the rulings are secret. My court case said that. You cannot know what's legal for the TSA to do or not. It's considered national security, so there's no way to know if you're being abused or not. All right, I'll let you go in 60 because I know you got to go, but this is big news. This is not in the news. I've read literally 50, I've scanned 50-something articles up there of 100 and something that are on Google with Jesse Ventura's name in it today, and it doesn't ever say that your lawyer told you that he can't even see the ruling. I mean, give us the specific, because that's big news. This is like 1984 or Kafka, where you can't find, or the Soviet Union, you can't find out what you've been charged with. Exactly. You have no way, and even the judge said it in her ruling, that it's secret and we have no way of knowing whether the governor was abused or not, because, again, you don't know the rules, and they can change them anytime they want, and there's no way to hold them accountable, the government, in any way, shape, or form. Well, Governor, that is martial law. When the courts say it's secret, when you try to bring up your rights, and you've got to go to a star chamber at the appeals court, and so you're not even going to seek going to the appeals, because that's not a jury. That's a fraud. That's giving into the sham. Well, I don't know yet. I haven't discussed my alternatives with my lawyer yet. We'll probably do that early next week, of whether I want to try to take it to the Court of Appeals. But again, Alex, that's 3 paid judges by the U.S. government. You think for 1 second they're going to rule in my favor?
No. Well, in closing, I appreciate you calling us first after the press conference. I'm very honored. And I want to tell you that Jim Marrs, who, of course, wrote the book that was used in the film JFK, is on hold. He just said he wants to really thank you when he heard you were probably going to be coming on. Dave Mustaine said he wants to thank you just spontaneously. Everybody I talk to, because people are really upset about this, watching their wives or children groped, they all say, thank you, Jesse, for what you did, and thank you to your family for going through all you've done, and the media persecuting you over the years for being a good governor and telling the truth. God bless you, my friend, and we'll talk to you sometime next week.
Thank you, Alex, and give my best to Jim and tell him stay on the trail of the assassins.
All right, sir. God bless.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, there you go. And, me and Jesse have gotten to be good friends, and he's real. People attack him, and he cares about freedom, and he is so, I've flown with him a few times, and, he really is a real guy. He's a quiet guy. He's a nice guy. You can tell he gets very upset. He started shouting when, but in a controlled way when they were rubbing all over him and stuff, and they were laughing. And it's Jesse Ventura, and the idiots asked him for autographs after they groped him, and he was like, no. And then I was like, hey, I shot video and photos of it, and he's like, let me see it. And he goes, well, it's embarrassing. Erase it. And later it would have been good, actually, for court. But I said, okay. But, he literally, he was in a good mood until he did that. And then our plane was delayed for like 3 hours, and he was just sitting there going, and he would go over to troops that were all flying out of Atlanta and say, do you like this? Do you know what's going on? And by the time he got on the plane, he was just like, controlled rage. And it's like a joke. The media is all, Ventura claims he's been abused. Ventura claims he's, flying hundreds of times a year with him going up in his legs, Again, I told the guy, I'm going to probably sue you if you grope me. So he didn't do all that stuff. He did. He goes, well, I have to check the waistband. He just barely, it was still a violation. People say, well, man up. The pilots, most of them combat pilot veterans that came out last year, we're going back to Jim, they would physically go, it was reported, and vomit. Or they were unable to fly. They would say, and then their union said, that's it, we're shutting air traffic down. And they said, okay, now you can go through your own line, and we'll stop groping you. And they quit for a few months in that new special line, but then now have started it again with some of the pilots. And people say, well, why would some guy's been a Vietnam combat pilot, one of them, perfect flying record, whatever, why would you have to go leave and then get home and vomit in your parking lot? Because you live your whole life as a man, as an upstanding, good person who's all about your personal space, your family, and walking up with people in uniforms. This is like being sent to prison. This is like being sent to prison. I'll tell you, I got in a fist fight one time with a guy who was a lot bigger than me, and boy, that's when there's trouble. Because that's when, I go into that caveman mode, and some big 250-pound guy, and I'm 170 pounds then, starts really hurting me. It's kind of blackout time. People get hurt. So a couple times I was sent to jail as a juvenile. But at one time it was really bad at Terrell. And I had the pervert guard come get me and say he was going to go take a shower with me. And I told him, I said, you're going to pay for this. And I said, you will pay. And I said, and my dad, I know my dad, he's a really sweet guy, but I knew him. I said, you're going to pay. There's still such a thing as Texas justice. I said, and I wasn't going to, I said, you're going to pay for this. And he said, you just get back in there then. And I was in solitary for like 3 days till they got into court and got me out. Because I didn't start the fight. The big tough guy, wrestling champion, started it, and he got his brains basically bashed out. Because you start hurting me, man, that's, that's when the switch gets thrown. And in this country, you should be able to defend yourself. And my point is, the feeling of that guy pushing me into that shower, and I was dressed, he goes, take your clothes off, starts touching me. The feeling of that was, wanted to throw up. That must be what it's like for a woman when somebody rapes them. They say, well, just enjoy it. Bull crap. Bull crap. Okay? Listen, growing up, dating girls, the first time you're out with some girl and you're in the movie theater and she puts her hand in your lap, it's kind of like electricity. And even though you like her, it's exciting, but it's kind of weird. That's how it is for me with my wife. It's that electric thing. That's my wife I've had children with. I don't want some man or woman touching me. Do you get it through your little pea brain, you bastards? I'm sick of your garbage, New World Order. I want you to know that. All right, I'm sorry I'm ranting. Jim, we're going to break. I'll come back with you some. We're going to break, but what did you think of that Ventura interview?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm with you. In fact, I've been turning down speaking engagements because I do not want to fly. In fact, and when I do have to accept something, I tell them right up front, you know, if the TSA, I said, I am not going to have my DNA uncoupled by those terahertz